I recently got to check out the M1 Pro MacBook Pros, the 14-inch and the 16-inch. Here are my thoughts. First thing I thought when I checked them out was the size difference. Now, I had a 13-inch M1 MacBook Pro to compare it to, and of course my 13-inch M1 MacBook Air to compare it to, and it's noticeable. The weight, as people have said, is not as much as the 2009 Retina MacBook Pros, which this is heavily based off, or even the 2015 Retina MacBook Pros, but it's there. Going off the form factor, comparing to the 14-inch and the 13-inch MacBook Air, they're very, very similar form factors. A little bit bigger on the 14-inch front, but overall it's not that bad, and I think most people will find it okay for the most part. If you're used to having a 13-inch form factor, this will be no bother to you at all. Going on to the ports, they're ports. You have your HDMI port, SD card slot, full SD card and full HDMI slots, and of course 3 USB Type-Cs and MagSafe. You thought MagSafe was brilliant on iPhones. Well, MagSafe is fantastic on the MacBooks. It comes off easily, and my MacBook has come close to falling off the table a couple of times due to USB Type-C charging. Of course, you can still Type-C charge the MacBook Pro 14 and 16-inch, although it's not as convenient as MagSafe, not as safe. Now onto performance. The performance is unmatched. I will admit that. I tested out a 10-core CPU, 16 gigs of RAM model. Of course, that's not the highest spec MacBook out there, but even compared to my M1 MacBook Air, it was significantly better. And I anticipate the binned models are going to be significantly better as well. These models are for the people who just want something that'll work. They don't want anything fancy. They literally just want base CPU, but they want a bit extra graphics. These are for the people that M1 just didn't quite suit. And that's not a lot of people, but they're there. And I'm quite quickly falling myself into that category of people that need a little bit more power that M1 doesn't have for graphics stuff, but most of that power is in video editing, and that is where this MacBook shines. If you're doing any kind of Blender referencing or anything like that, do not get this MacBook, okay? Do not. It's not optimized for Blender, and there's plenty of PCs that will perform better at a cheaper price. But when it comes to Final Cut Pro editing and HEVC encoding, just in general more video related stuff, it's fantastic. And photography as well. The screen is unreal. The mini LED I didn't expect to make as much of a difference. It makes a lot of a difference, and even when I'm just looking at it myself, trying to pick apart the display, trying to find something wrong with it, I couldn't really find anything apart from the notch. But let's be real, the notch is going to be there. The notch is going to be an issue, but for most people they won't care, and that's the beauty of this. The notch blends in when you're doing any sort of activities on the MacBook, and some activities cut off entirely and give you sort of like a 16:9 experience, and other things just embrace the notch, which is nice. Of course, nothing really is the full 16:10 display, and nothing really is going to be intruded upon with this, which is great to see. Of course, there have been applications made for the notch already, which let you add little decorations and stuff to it, just nifty things. And of course, the bug where the mouse goes behind the notch. It's weird. I'd rather go around the notch, treat it as an edge. I don't know. That's my impressions of it. I didn't have a long time of using this. I only got my first impressions, but I got to feel it, get it in hand, really put it through the paces. The webcam is better, which is something we all expected, not wanted. In 2022, in the age of the pandemic, finally getting rid of that, by the way. Yeah, it's way better to have a good webcam, because video conferencing is here to stay, unfortunately. And overall, this MacBook series is the one for the people who want a bit more power than M1 can provide, or the bigger screen, or the better keyboard. By the way, touch bar's gone, and I hate that they got rid of the touch bar. I hate that they got rid of the touch bar because it really, it was a cool little feature to have. I know a lot of people hated it, and I use function keys on a daily basis with my MacBook Air, but I don't know, I think I would have preferred the touch bar to stay. I love the new keyboard shape though, and the new Magic Keyboard. Very, very pleasant to type on, can type on it for ages. And that's it. Let's hope we see an updated model of the MacBook Air coming later this year, which can take some design cues from this, because that would be dope. What do you think of this MacBook Pro series? Do you think it's great? Do you use one? Do you want to use one? All that and more, let me know on Twitter @TechWasYT or in the comment section below. And of course, subscribe to the channel would be really appreciated. We're trying to get to 1,000 this year. I'll catch you next time.